Some question?
So yes,
Yeah.
we have a question from Yuvati Didi.
Oh, Jai, Yuvati.
So, she asking, we are said to chant 4 rounds of Maha Mantra because...
Safe?
Said.
S-A-F-E?
No, said, we are told.
Oh, said, we're told.
Sorry, we are told to chant 4 rounds of Maha Mantra because in SCS Mat, quality is appreciated more than quantity. But if I cannot give quality at all, repeat the name automatically or my mind wanders somewhere else, then what to do? In ISKCON you can, at least, concentrate during a longer period of time, which means that quantity helps. And yes, I remember about less rounds of offenses, but what to do anyway?
Well, first of all, Guru Maharaj is saying, in consideration that one shall have a life full of service engagement, saying Saraswati Thakur, it's Saraswati Thakur, who can chant 3 lakhs of Krishna Nam, who can chant 1 lakh of Krishna Nam every day. He said, Malika Upabhashna, don't let the mala fast. So he's given that as a minimum. And it's not a question of just concentration. Because what does that mean? To concentrate on what? Hearing some sound that you're producing with your voice box and your tongue. So Guru Maharaj quotes Jagadananda Pandit saying, Namakar Bahiroy Bata Nama Kabunoi. Saying, just the syllables of the holy name, in other words, just making this sound, that's not the holy name. And Kabunoi means never. It's not saying sometimes it isn't according to your concentration. That's not what is said. It says, Sevan mukhe hijavaro shayameva spurtida. That the name-taking should be surcharged with the spirit of service. So what does that mean really? Minimally, addo arpita paschad kriyeta. For something to qualify as service, and this is according to Sridhar Swami, the great Bhagavatam commentator, with reference to the Prahlad Charit, his teaching, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Padasevanam, etc. Saying, Addo arpita paschad kriyeta, beginning, middle, and end should be for Krishna. Not with some expectation of reward or remuneration. So, and what we've heard from Guru Maharaj and Srila Gurudev, that our general approach should be that we think our Guru is taking Krishna Nam substantially, and we are serving the lotus feet of Sri Guru. And the minimum has been recommended for us. And why are we doing that? If we say even that may be unconcentrated, is because it is the order of Guru and Vaishnava. I say, as Mahaprabhu tells Prakasananda Saraswati Thakur, when he said, why aren't you studying Vedanta? He said, my Gurudev considered me murka, a fool, foolish. And so he told, you chant this name of Krishna. He didn't recommend for me to study the Vedanta. And he said, and I'm taking this name. He said, but after some time, I thought, what kind of mantra have you given me? Because Mahaprabhu, we take it in his capacity as a devotee, Swabhaktebhya Sudham Bhajana Mudram Upadishan, that he is taking, Shudhanam. You know, Prabodhananda Saraswati Thakur, Guru Maharaj likes to quote saying, Mahaprabhu Gauranga Sundara Nagara Bara Nityam Nijar Namavi. He's taking his own name, relishing taking his own name, and the outcome is ecstatic dance. Guru Rupa Harim Gauram Radha Ruchi Ruchavritam Nityam Nomi Navadipe Nama Kirtana Nartanai. So the Nam Kirtan and the Nartan. Taking the name and ecstatic dance is the outcome. But in this pastime, Mahaprabhu was saying, so I asked him, what kind of mantra have you given me that it's making me dance madly and all these ecstatic symptoms are coming? And his guru says, oh, this we've heard of, in the scriptures. And the famous verse, Evam Bratam Satam Sutanu Kirtya. It's mentioned in the Bhagavatam, quoted by Mahaprabhu. It's in Chaitanya Charitamrita and elsewhere, saying, what are the natural effects of Shuddhanam, pure Krishna Nam, or these ecstatic symptoms, madly singing, dancing, tears streaming from the eyes? So Mahaprabhu's Gurudev was saying, oh, because your name taking is pure, this is the sort of outcome that has been predicted in the scriptures. So it's a very peculiar thing. Indirectly, he's, you could say, revealing his position. But Rupa Goswami is quoted, this very important verse, Atak Shri Krishna Nam Adi. Shri Krishna Nam, that means Nam, holy name of Krishna. Shri Krishna Nam Adi, it's Nama, Rupa, Guna, Leela. Atak Shri Krishna Namadi, Nabhavyed Grahyam Indriye. Grahyam means grasped. The name of Krishna, the form of Krishna, the qualities of Krishna, the pastimes of Krishna cannot be grasped by the mind and senses. So then the question arises. It's given in the 10th canto, 87th chapter, Veda Stuti, by Parikshit Maharaj to Sukadev Goswami, that how can there be spiritual sound, Shabda Brahma, if we're using the voice box, the tongue, and then listening with the ears, as we've heard they're described in science and biology. This appears to be, on its face, some sort of material experience. How can it be? How can Shabda Brahma factor in? And it's one of the longest chapters in the Bhagavatam. But one point that is made there, perhaps explained by Vishwanath Chakrabarti Thakur, is part of the answer is this is why we have senses. We can say, from one point of view, those souls, Bhayam Datiya Binibeshi Tachat, in forgetfulness of Krishna, they're given opportunity to exploit the world. Brahmayan Sarvabhutani Yantra Rudrani Mayaya. In Gita, Krishna is saying, comparing the body to a yantram, a machine, the soul, as seated on a machine made out of material energy, is seeing, hearing, tasting, touching, smelling, feeling, doing all these things. Yes, that's what the senses are for those souls who are forgetful of their Lord. But sarvapadi vinirmuktam tatparatena nirmalam hrishikena hrishikesha sevanam bhakti ruchate. But Krishna, another name of Krishna, is Rishikesh. The Lord of the senses, but means like what the senses are meant for. That's why we have eyes, ears, all of these things. The soul is embodied and either becoming further implicated in material activities, sensual activities, or through gyan and tapasya, austerity, etc., some sort of general spiritual culture, achieving a neutral position where the senses are subdued, they're in a neutral stage. Or we're told, so that's from exploitation, renunciation, but in dedication, hrishikena hrishikesha sevanam, bhakti ruchate. All of these senses are to be used in the service of Krishna. So the Queen Rukmini, in her letter kidnap request to Krishna, one of the, maybe 5 prayers, one of the prayers, Srutva gunan bhuvana sundara shinvatam te nirvisha karna vivare haratonga tapam rupam drisham drishimitam akilarta labam tvayachuta apatrapam me Vishati chitram apatrapam me. Saying, Srutva gunan bhuvana sundar, hearing about you, then nama, from the sound comes rupa, some conception of the beautiful form of Krishna. That Bhaktivinoda Thakur in his Sharanagati, if you read, it's in the chapter in the Search for Sri Krishna called the Nectar of the Holy Name, their Service of the Holy Name, Nectar of the Holy Name. Bhaktivinoda Thakur describing the effects of Shuddhanam in his case, which some say they also witnessed. But he describes a very dramatic, dynamic experience where he's taking the holy name of Krishna through that sound, the form of Krishna, some form, color starts to come out of the sound with greater definition and clarity, and then starts revealing certain qualities, and then he sees it's Krishna and he takes him into his pastimes. This is what he's describing. We think because of our own limited experience that sometimes of what we can observe from an external point of view, we're thinking some higher devotee, they're taking the name of Krishna and they're concentrating on the sound. Maybe, but what does that mean? Abhinaton nama namano. If the sound is non-different than Krishna, right, then there must be some connection with Krishna, and not in a general sense. Again, that is according to their capacity. So Rukmini is saying, hearing about you, then through that sound, your form is being manifest to us, and we can understand you're the most beautiful thing in the world. And so 2 things occur, or more than 2, but at least 2. One is, now I understand why there is such a thing as hearing. Now we're coming to the heart of the matter. And Sukadev's answer to Parikshit Maharaj. And it's not just from the perspective of a devotee, but he's stating the fact, the reality of the situation. It's Krishna's Hrishikesh. That's all the senses are meant for Krishna realization, Krishna conception. Hearing is to hear about him. It can appear to be an option. I say, no, but you can hear about material things, or you can hear about things that help you withdraw from the mundane and situate you in the neutral position. Yes, yes. You can also hear about Krishna in such a way as it takes you into another world. Right? A dramatic, transformative experience. Sukadeva Goswami, Parinishti Topi Naragunye Uttama Sloka Lilaya Grihita Cheta Rajarse Akyanam Yaraditavam. He was no mundane influence, but in the sense like Brahmavadi position, on the outskirts of the Nirguna plane. Nirguna, but the outskirts. And he's saying, then hearing Uttama Shloka Lilaya, hearing about the pastimes of Krishna, grihita, like that word, nagraham indriya, beyond the grasp of the mind, the intellect, and the senses. But here, he's being grasped. Beyond the grasp of your mind, senses, ear, tongue, and all that. But he has the capacity to grasp your senses, your mind, your intelligence, your hearing, your seeing. He has that capacity. That's when it is a genuine spiritual experience coming from up to down, descending. Bole. And the words of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Guru Maharaj said here, it doesn't mean like bolo, like chanting. Bale means like bala, power. Saying that hearing from the Vaishnava, that's why we get the holy name from the Vaishnava. Hearing from the Vaishnava, that Krishna Nam is infused with a particular quality. Through serving, through a service connection, the heart will be touched and influenced. And then the heart, that power coming outward from the heart, moves the tongue to vibrate the name of Krishna. Not the inverse, that after so much tongue wagging and name taking, the heart will be touched. Guru Maharaj does not support that idea. And you say, well, here and there. I'm telling you straight, Guru Maharaj doesn't support that idea. He's saying the inverse, it's the heart being touched under the influence of Krishna conception. And this is consistent throughout. Krishna can descend, then there's something substantial there. And then we'll say, well, then what are we doing? We're following the order of Guru and Vaishnava. They tell us, you'll chant the holy name every day. We don't boast or think that our vibration of the name of Krishna is Shuddhanam or something substantial. On the order and the recommendation of Guru and Vaishnava, we're taking the name of Krishna and trying to serve them. And that was Gurudev's idea, that Guru Maharaj, he's doing all of this. He's taking Shuddhanam and going on with his internal culture. I'm serving him. That's my Sri Rupa Mandri Pada Se Mora, Mantra Japa Se Mora, Vrata Tapa, etc. That's my mantra, my japa, my tapa, my everything, is service to the lotus feet of Sri Guru. So, but that said, we may find ourselves in a situation where we feel, compelled, inspired to increase the number. That's fine. But we shouldn't think by increasing the number that it will, quantity will generate quality. And if you're thinking like, well, but if I say the name, so many more times, then maybe one of them will be okay. That's not impossible. But Guru Maharaj says, quality brings us relief from mathematics. So, why are all these statements there in the scriptures? When Mahaprabhu is introducing Rupa Goswami to the devotees, and introducing in the sense of, indicating Rupa Nuga, he is to help them understand who is Rupa Goswami, saying, quote some of your verses from your works. And this is interesting also. You can talk to someone, have some sort of interaction with them, and that's there too. But when he wants them to understand substantially who Rupa Goswami is, what his capacity is, and what his contribution is, he asks them to speak some of his slokas. And one in particular, he says, tell that sloka you composed, that upon hearing which everyone becomes happy. And we should note who is in this group: Swarup Damodar, Nityananda, Advaita, Gadadhar Pandit, Haridas Thakur, the Namacharya, Jagadananda Pandit, so many others, all great, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, all the great devotees. And Mahaprabhu was saying, that sloka, tell that sloka upon hearing which everyone becomes happy, that you've written about the holy name. Tunde tandavini ritim bhutanute tundavali labdiye karna kroda kadambini gadayate karnar budhebhya spriham. And it's in his play, Madhu Mangal Purnamasi, in his play, they're moving in the plain of Vrindavan, they're taking the name of Krishna, and this comes from them. They are sharing, you can say. And what is being expressed is that when one, Krishneti Varnadvai, not 4 rounds, 16, 64, 192. It says, Krishneti Varna Doi. These 2 syllables, Krishna. I don't know how much nectar is contained in those 2 syllables. It's impossible to estimate. And when I am vibrating the name of Krishna, saying Krishna, there's so much sweetness to taste that one tongue is insufficient to taste all of that sweetness. Spontaneously, my heart's desire is to possess millions of tongues to relish all of that sweetness. And the sound is so beautiful, right? It's Nikhila Shruti Moli Ratnamala. Of all sounds, the central, the crest jewel of all spiritual sounds. It's the name of Krishna. So much nectar, sweetness in that sound and beauty that 2 ears are insufficient to capture it all. My heart has the aspiration to have millions of ears. So we can think of that. So this is why it's interesting. It's like one of the offenses to the holy name, to think what we hear is exaggeration. So we think, Rupa Goswami is a poet. And poets, they're always, exaggerating. They say something, how it was this beautiful or that beautiful, but who knows, objectively speaking, how far that is true. Then we're lost. Then we'll be left with our own mean estimation of things. But if we take it on the authority of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Rupa Goswami, when Mahaprabhu says, tell this, and who is in the audience? Haridas Thakur and the others I mentioned, and they're saying, oh, we've never heard a sloka so beautiful about the name of Krishna. And it should be noted, they know all the slokas. This group, they've heard them all. They know all the different statements about the holy name in the different scriptures. And Haridas Thakur and the others saying, this is the best. And as Mahaprabhu said, upon hearing this, everyone becomes happy. So really, it should pick our imagination that such a plane is possible, where one name of Krishna is producing an infinite magnitude of sweetness that one desires 1,000,000 tongues to taste it, or 1,000,000 ears to capture the beauty of that sound. Then we'll have to leave our minds and intellect behind. As Rupa Goswami told us, Atak Shri Krishna Namadi. You want to understand something about the name of Krishna, the form of Krishna, the qualities of Krishna, the pastimes of Krishna? Leave your mind at the door, at the gate. Not in that plane. Jnane priyasam udapasana manta eva. Won't be helpful. The opposite will be there. So that plane that we seek, what is it known as? Adhoksaja realm. Means descends on out of its own accord, its own interest. Hey, even the holy name? Yes, even the holy name. The name of Krishna, the form of all of these things, that's what it's saying. Name, form, qualities, pastimes. So if we think, yes, the pastimes part, that we could maybe understand, but that I don't think you could just sort of summon that on your own. But it's saying not only pastimes, qualities of Krishna, like the person who said to me in Milan, well, it was Pranashish Prabhu, one of the Shish brothers. And we're in Vila Govinda, and like Sunday program, and I go, are there any questions? And he's like naughty, Irish naughty. And I go, yes, the gentleman in the front row. And he goes, with that lilting sing-song, why is Krishna blue? First I went to strangle him. In a nice way. Nicely. Like time aside. Nice. Then I thought, oh, Krishna. And then this came to me. Yang Shama Sundaram Achintya Guna Swarupam. Oh, Brahma Samhita says, Shama Sundar Krishna, it's achintya guna. It's not the blue that you know, or the blackish color that you know. And say, well, it's told like, similar to the monsoon rain, similar to that. But achintya guna, it's an inconceivable dark beauty color. Reality is for itself, and why? He's for himself and by himself. It's difficult to see. Abra, no mi jate, abra bapu se taridambaraya. gunjavatangsha paripichtila sanmukaya. Difficult to see, but Taridambar, dressed, enlightening, and Ladini Shakti, Swarup Shakti. Then contrast is there. He can be, the contrast of his Shakti, potency, he is revealed. So it Hokshaja, I mean, he descends on his own accord. And what are we told? That means adha aksaja. Aksaja, our normal way of seeing, hearing, tasting, smelling, touch, etc., is suppressed. It's checked. The other way, people say, no, if I suppress my senses, then I'll have that experience. Now that can take you to a neutral position. Not give an entrance into the positive serving domain. That works in the inverse, descends and suppresses your sense experience. Then there's a new type of seeing, hearing, tasting, touching. And that's what the Veda Stuti chapter is saying, and what Rupa Goswami is saying, Sevan mukhe hijavaroshayameva sportida. But through service connection, then those same senses, that tongue, all those things, the sense apparatus, when charged with a serving tendency, then Krishna may reveal himself. So we proceed sometimes with an element of hopelessness. Oh, I'm fallen, unqualified, unfit, but my guru and his guru, the Vaishnavas, they've given us this direction, we're following that. We follow their order. They've told us, we'll take the name of Krishna, we're trying. That said, Guru Maharaj will say, under certain circumstances, one can take more. Sometimes they're not in a situation where there are many serving opportunities. They can chant the holy name more, read more, hear more. But these principles will still hold true. Has to be done in a mood of devotion. Seva, sevan mukata. And that doinya apmani vedam goptritve baran. There has to be a certain amount of hopeless to the point of taking shelter of Guru and Vaishnav. When Guru Maharaj and Madhav Maharaj and the others are on the beach in Puri, and one man was saying, it said by, you can get the Lord, yes, how? Sharanagati, through surrender. He said, then I'm Sharanagata. If you tell me, jump into the ocean, I'm prepared to do that. And the devotees a little dumbstruck. And they looked at Guru Maharaj, and Guru Maharaj said, that is the opposite of Sharanagati. Like, I'm ready to do that. He said, the Sharanagata, the genuinely surrendered devotee, feels themselves incapable and unfit. That's why they're a proper receptacle, recipient for grace. It's the opposite sort of culture. I'm unfit, unqualified, but I am following the order of Guru and Vaishnav. That sort of humility or negativity can draw the attention of Krishna. And with regard to being attentive, certainly one should be attentive. If they're inattentive, then Guru Maharaj does not recommend, increase the number. He's saying if you're inattentive, put the mala down and do some practical seva that will restore your attentiveness, your concentration, and then take up the mala again. Yes.
Yes, one long question from Yoga Maya Devidasi from Kiev.
Hare Krishna.
He say, please accept my dandavats. Working on the project Vedic Planetarium, I was faced with the fact that I do not understand the next question. From Srila Sridhar Maharaj in its Subjective Evolution of Consciousness is mentioned about how the individual souls are formed and how they acquire a wish to know matter on base of the shadow manifestations. On the other hand, there are explanations like Karanadakashai Vishnu glances at the Mahatattva and forms a new universe. How to reconcile, how to understand whether these processes take place simultaneously, in parallel. That process of creating individual souls and the whole universe. Some certain macro and micro process, how to get a correct understanding.
Well, in Bhagavad Gita, jivas are described as anantagan. They're innumerable. And although they are innumerable, Srila Guru Maharaj describes Brahmajyoti as something living and growing. We take it that it's comprised of individual units of consciousness who are he describes it as their actual individual consciousness is somewhat suppressed, or Saraswati Thakur's, where it's held in abeyance. But it's like national identity. Just like in nationalism, there's a general sense. So, but it's something living and growing, expanding. Although it's unlimited, it's increasing. From that position, from the undifferentiated position, they differentiate. Guru Maharaj most often expressed it with reference to Paradise Lost of Milton, where he says, Satan presents this option, the satanic option, satanic mania. Would you like to, serve in heaven or reign in hell? And again, for the English second language speakers, it's R-E-I-G-N, reign as in the sense of like be king or queen. And this choice, this is where the differentiation begins, where one envisions themselves as realizing their self-potential, becoming fulfilled, happy through exploitation. So that's it from their side in a nutshell. Right? To opt, to exercise the free will option to reign in hell. Right? To enter an egocentric world. That's what's happening in principle. How does this transpire sequentially? We're told Mahavishnu is lying in the causal ocean, and Yoga Nidra, eyes half open, and because Mahavishnu cannot have any direct contact with Maya, so Mahavishnu glances, peripheral vision, eyes half closed towards Maya. That glance, everything is spiritual there, that glance is personified as Shambhu, an aspect of Shiva, who is what? The sum total of all jivas. Right? That's why jivas, sometimes Guru Maharaj will say, in essence, are atomic Shiva wannabes. I put on the wannabe, but that's what he's saying. They aspire to the position of Shiva, means master of Maya. That aspect of it. So Shambhu, sum total of all the jivas, so glance of Mahavishnu personified as Shambhu Shiva, all the jivas there, and it's described in the language of Brahma Samhita, where Gurudev once said, seeing all this stuff on television, talking about sex education. And Gurudev said, it is there in Brahma Samhita. For those who have read, and you read in the commentary written there, says that almost in an apologetic way, it says there's no other way to describe this than Shambhu impregnating all of those jiva souls into the womb of Maya. Saying that's the description. That's how this takes place. So that's, in one sense, literal chain of custody, of the conditioned souls, how they're being, from the glance of Mahavishnu, sending them in this direction, impregnated by Shambhu Shiva and the womb of Maya. But what is the principle? Going from the undifferentiated position, differentiating to exercising the reign in hell option. Seduced by the satanic mania that I will realize my potential as a Lord, as the Lord of all I survey. Saraswati Thakur would sometimes use that. Actually, I think that's from Robinson Crusoe. But that's the expression. The Lord of all I survey, the monarch of all I survey. I am Ozymandias, King of kings. Look ye mighty upon my kingdom with despair. Shelley saying that. I met a traveler from an ancient land. He told me something very peculiar he saw. The statue out in the middle of the desert of this king Ozymandias, whether you take it to be Ramses 1, 2, or 3, it all works. And the statue's broken, head lying in the sand, the base maybe from the waist, knees down there, an inscription. And he said, when you see the face, he said, whoever that sculptor was, he really captured this man. We know the sculptors, they put a lot of work in the face. In the face, and then your land, Michelangelo, the hands, or Leonardo, we saw this painting. You look at the face and the hands, get a lot of work. And sometimes you look at the background, it looks like it was just, they weren't even trying. Like that Annunciation painting. Look at the hands and the faces of the angel Mary. Anyway, he says, you look at the face, and he said, this sneer, arrogant sneer. He said, I am the mighty Ozymandias. The inscription says, look upon my kingdom, ye mighty, in despair. Like, when you see how much I have, you'll be envious. Like, eat your heart out, look at what I've got. And he said, and then you look, and because so much time has passed, mrityu sarva haras chaham, takes everything away. He said, all you see is sand. You don't see any kingdom. His kingdom is long gone. So that's the nature of the egocentric world, reigning in hell, establishing yourself as an independent center, a competitor of Krishna. Krishna's Adi Purusha, the original male, the original enjoyer. And we're trying to compete with him. So Guru Maharaj called it satanic mania to reign in hell. He said, it would be better, Gurudev once said, to be a worm in a bucket of nectar. Or Guru Maharaj will say, like, try to get a hut in that plane, like a little, thatched roof hut in that plane. Something, or asamaho charanarenu dushama hangshang brindavane kimapi gulma latosadina. An atomic presence in that plane. Ayi nanda tanuja kinkaram patitamam vishame bhavam budho. Mahaprabhu is saying, what happened? I'm Krishna Kinkar. I'm a servant of Krishna, and now I'm drowning in an ocean of forgetfulness of that, and suffering like anything. What happened? Kripayamburi ayinanda tanuja kinkaram patitamam vishme bhavambudho kripaya tabapada pankajastita duli sadrisham vichantaya. First aspiration that's expressed, sanity, is even a particle of dust, an atom of dust at your lotus feet. Grant me that. Not all of this. It's fine. The genuine Mahaprabhu praying like that, Uddhava praying like that, Brahma tad buri bhagyam kim tad buri bhagyam iha janma kim apyatavyan yad gopule gokulepi katamangri. They're all saying like that. But then you have neophyte, new recruits to Krishna consciousness. They're going to be super servitors in the Kunja in Vrindavan. That's how they see themselves. They're close. Soon. But Mahaprabhu is saying, an atom of dust at your lotus feet. That's my aspiration. Uddhava, a blade of grass, a creeper, Brahma, same thing. They aspire like that. So who knows what they're talking about? Who's more reliable? That must be the way. That humble aspiration. And then Guru Maharaj says in the next sloka, that once that desire has been granted, an atomic presence in that plane, then Nayanam Galarasuru Dharaya Vaddanam Gadgada Rudhaya Gira Pulakar Nichitam Bapukada Tavanama Grahaneva Vishati. That's what, 6 sloka in on Shikshastra. I'm saying. Then the Asru, tears taking your name, Tavanama Grahaneva. Then when I am taking your holy name, and even there it's another, when my eyes will be flooded with tears and shivering in my body. What does Bhaktivinoda Thakur say? Kabe habe bolo seidi namar. When will that day be mine? Amar aparadha guchi shudha name ruchi. Kripa bolo. When without aparad, I'll experience some taste, Shuddha Nama Ruchi, take the pure name. It's an aspiration. So Srila Guru Maharaj concludes sometimes by saying, so you say, well then we're hopeless. It's a hopeless proposition that'll never be realized by us, by folks like us. Guru Maharaj is saying, if you can voice that sentiment in a heartfelt way, and then add to that, but I have no other shelter, I have no other interest, no other aspiration. He's saying, then you might be a devotee, you might have devotion. because that's the position of the devotee, to recognize they're unqualified, unfit, empty, they'll never get this in a million lifetimes. But as Madhavendra Puri says, Govinda Paraspriyam, I'm not going to give up my aspiration. And yes, I don't have it. It has not been achieved. But I have no other shelter, no other target, no other goal than this. That's what separates the genuine devotees from the posers or the tourists. The visa is not granted because you're curious. But when the visa granting officers recognize that it's the interest of that country to give you admission. So if that world, Shraddha Mayoyam Loka, Seva Mayoyam Loka, is comprised, the highest sort of faith, and Seva, then we can understand the interest of that plane is service. When our interest is one, when all this name-taking and whatever else it is in the interest of that plane, then admission is given. Entrance. Not because we're curious or we accumulated a certain amount of merits. Never hear a genuine devotee say they deserve something. Sometimes, if they're really in trouble, like Draupadi, if I ever did any service for you, help me. One place, Guru said to her, all of these, we'll say, transcendental things that she did, they're converted into thread. The never-ending sorry. There's other question?
How come that you can get pleasure from being conscious of something?
What about the phone question?
Yes.
This was from
Madhurananda.
Madhurananda Prabhu. Right?
Yes. In Madhya Lila, in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila, chapter 17, verse 216. What means that when Krishna is with Radharani, he enchants Cupid himself. Otherwise, when he is by himself, he is subjected to
the influence
of Cupid.
Well, Hare Krishna. Mahaprabhu, when he's in a heightened state of ecstasy in Jagannath Puri, and then he starts making his way toward Vrindavan. And we're told it's like on the way, increasing, like 10 times. It's getting 100 times. And when he's actually going through the forest of Vrindavan, his heightened state of ecstasy is increased hundreds of thousands of times. Again, it's ad infinitum, it's beyond our capacity as finite to properly comprehend, so this sort of shorthand is being given. And there, if we can think in this way, that even though so long has gone by, so many years, still Vrindavan, the place of all these pastimes, some of the originals, some descendants, they're all conscious, Vaikuntya Prithiviyadi Sakala Chinmoy. When now Krishna's returned, Vrindavan also feels separation. Now Krishna's returned, but come as Mahaprabhu, that's having ecstatic effect upon the environment. Trees are shivering in ecstasy, crying tears. And Mahaprabhu's in this state of divine madness. And he's deep meditation on Vrindavan pastimes. But we know as Radha Bhava Duti Subalita, enveloped in the heart and halo of Radharani, considering all these things from a different perspective, from her position. While thinking like that, these two parrots, Suk and Sari, land on his fingers. The male parrot and the female parrot. But they're not ordinary parrots. And I think Vishwanath Chakrabarti Tagore wrote more extensively about this conversation they have. But these parrots know Sanskrit. And not only know it, but they can compose Sanskrit. So we understand they're great poets, great devotees and poets. So the Suk, the male parrot, is singing some slokas in praise of Krishna. How beautiful is Krishna, his seductive charm, that, like in the Brahma Samhita, Kandarpakoti Kamaniya, 10 million cupids personified as one. He is Madan Mohan. Cupid himself will be bewildered. Cupid's bewildering everyone in the world. One Cupid bewildering everybody, but the 10 million Cupid magnitude of Krishna can totally bewilder Cupid. Anyway, he's speaking this way about he's speaking in favor of Krishna. And Sarika, the female parrot, she's singing slokas in praise of Srimati Radharani. And saying that, that's true what you say. But that's when Radharani is by his side, then all those things you say are true. As Guru Maharaj says elsewhere, Krishna, without her company, without Radharani, he said, is half Mayavad. Without Radharani, he's Brahma. Like Brahma, Paramatma, Brahma. So the female parrot is saying, when Krishna's at the right hand of Radharani, then all these things you say are true. But then she says something a little mischievous or naughty, she said, but otherwise, without her, he's overwhelmed by Cupid. And by that, she doesn't mean of this world. That can never be for Krishna. but like one of his names, Ananga, Ananga means who has no body, but like mundane body. But what she's saying is how attractive Krishna appears in connection with Radharani, but otherwise he himself is overwhelmed by the cupidity of attraction to her. That's what he's saying. Not Cupid. It's a play on words. It's using the word Kandarpa or Madan. So Krishna is known as Madan Mohan. Madan is another name for Cupid, Mohan, who bewilders Madan, Cupid. But her name is Madan Mohan Mohini, who bewilders the bewilderer of Cupid. That's what she's saying. She has the power to instill amorous desires in Krishna. Hare Krishna. Is there any other question?
How come?
Oh, not about, or what is it? Yeah.
No. This is how come that you can get pleasure from being conscious of something. Parenthesis. We are told.
Well,
Then
there's
continue. I think trying to explain what means.
What is meant by that?
We are told if you could get a glimpse of your soul, you'd be astonished. Yogis are satisfied and happy by achieving Brahman.
No, yogis are interested in Paramatma. That's all it says?
Yes.
Yeah, so, consciousness, Sat Chit Anandam. Really, the purpose of consciousness is to seek out Anandam. So there's different types of pleasure or happiness. Relief from a suffering condition is a type of happiness or pleasure up to a point until it becomes boring or monotonous. What does it say? Ramante yogino anante sachidananda chidatmani. So Krishna, he's Ananda Murti. He is the highest expression of happiness or pleasure. That pleasure principle personified to the infinite degree. So much so, what to speak of yogis? Vishnu is eager to have a glimpse of your soul, wonderful thing. Vishnu is astonished to see Krishna. Right? So he says, he stole those sons of the Brahmin, son of the Brahmin. So Krishna and Arjuna would come. They were saying why? They were saying why would he do something like that? It seems so petty and out of character. Because it meant he would get the darshan of Krishna. So Vishnu is interested to see Krishna. And what to speak of that? We're talking, even Krishna is astonished to see Krishna. Whether in reflection, in a jeweled column, in a picture, in a mirror. So, chit, consciousness, allows for us to feel. And we want to take that feeling to its highest possible position. But with regard to that, we can't have a stereotype. As Gurudev would say with regard to Mahaprabhu, what is his tasting matter? He's tasting this peculiar type of pleasure that comes from feeling intense separation from Krishna. Right? Krishna, who's, Ananda personified, Rasaraj, he knows everything about pleasure and happiness. He's observing Srimati Radharani and the type of love and devotion she has for him has awakened a curiosity in him to experience her position. So Mahaprabhu, Krishna descends as Mahaprabhu. So these words, pleasure, happiness, they're all general terms. If we start examining them more specifically, so the happy, Brahmanand, Rupa Goswami says, conclude with this, Brahmanando bhavedesha chet paradha gunikrita naiti bhakti sukham bodhe paramanu tulamapi. Saying that Brahmananda, that's the general spiritual happiness. He's saying if you multiply that millions of times, Sukham bodhe means like an ocean of sukh, happiness. Saying if you multiply this, to the nth degree, millions and millions of times, a trillionfold, say, if you multiply it a trillionfold, Brahmananda, it is not equal to an atomic fraction of the pleasure derived from Krishna consciousness. That we should think about. Hare Krishna.